So, it is possible? Chuck asks, bouncing up and down in place, her lower arms hooking in the Tone's belt loops. Simone is leaning back on a kitchen wall, speechless from the Kelly's sudden, out-of-left-field idea. Maybe. I mean, wow, geez, really putting me on the spot here, hun, she mumbled, peeking over at Seven, working away not 15 standard feet away. I'm sorry, Simone, but consider it. We won't have to be so careful, Chuck persists. You mean I won't have to be so careful? I don't know. I don't want to develop any bad habits, you know. What we have now and how we do it, I'm comfortable with it. Far more comfortable than I ever expected to be. Yet I still have that background worry of hurting you, and if I get used to it being rougher, I don't know, Chuck. The redhead replies honestly, as she crosses her arms, feeling a bit guilty for possibly shooting down the Kelly's excitement. Oh, I see. I mean, I understand completely. If that's your feelings on the matter, then I won't... Chuck starts to respond apologetically, before Simone cuts back in. Hold on a sec. I'm not saying a solid no, just... I don't know. And I know that look in your eyes. This is very important to you. Now be straight up with me and tell me why. The Kelly looks down to the floor, her eyes flashing dimly. Her grip on the belt loops tighten. I feel selfish for admitting it, but I desire all of you. No, sorry, that sounded controlling. No, that's not what I mean. The universe deserves you just as much as I do. It's just... I'll be perfectly happy with how we currently go about our love life, as long as you are, that is. But if there's an opportunity to experience you even more, how can I not want that? You're my favourite person, the love I thought I would never find, and I've already almost lost you forever. I want to relish every moment we have because despite the progress we've made, and my faith in you and our friends, I was reminded how quickly it can all be torn away. The Kelly explains, before planting her horned head against Simone's chest, the Terran dropping her crossed arms in response. May I confess something to you, Simone? Yeah? The Terran says. Never. In a billion lifetimes of the stars themselves did I ever believe or think that I would ever fall in love, especially for someone the universe considers a Deathworlder, let alone be betrothed to one, or... well... Let's just say that this princess in her past would have been terrified beyond reason at the mere notion of being intimate with one. But now? Instincts and royal etiquette training be damned to clat. I desire to be in your embrace and made like a pair of feral rock hats. I want to latch onto you in a storm of ferocious ecstasy. I want you to feel safe with me, knowing I'll be okay. The princess finally looks up to meet the Terran's now reddened face. She takes hold of the Terran's paw and presses it to her freckled cheek. It feels juvenile to focus so much on this particular aspect of our relationship. I'm sorry, I don't mean to give the impression that mating is all I really care about, or that I even value it above anything else. It's just special to me, because embracing with you I feel, oh, so many things. I'm not certain if I have the words. I feel invincible. Not powerful, but invincible. Because those moments, all there is in the universe is me and you. It's bliss. It takes a good long moment for Simone to expel any sort of reply to all that. Her pounding heart definitely didn't help even out her thoughts. Gotcha. Whoa, right, okay, she stammers, unable to catch on to her own words. Have I made you more uncomfortable? Chuck asks, seeing what is seemingly distress. No, well, in a way, but not bad, just, processing, you know, Simone assures, wondering if it was Seven's cooking that spiked the room's temperature. The Kelly nods as she hugs the redhead. Just because all that is what I want, it doesn't mean that in reality all I need to be happy is you. I truly hope I'm not pressuring you into something you don't want, the Kelly reassures, now feeling the Terran's thundering heartbeat. Simone bites her cheek, thinking as clearly as one can in her state. If we start using higher-than-military-grade equipment that's more expensive than a weekend Vapor Panis finest brothel, for recreational use that no doubt voids any warranty, I suppose I'd be fine doing so, conditionally, the Terran poses. Chuck meets Simone's eyes once more, eyes gloriously alight. Of course, whatever you are comfortable with, she chirps. For now, it won't be the norm, just special occasions. It's not something I think I should get used to, Simone answers tentatively, yet also sternly. Oh, that is more than fair, Chuck says excitedly. I do not wish to interrupt out, as this discussion topic is maddeningly fascinating. However, I must admit that has become a concern, and please vacate the kitchen, or I fear it will begin to no longer be up to code, both in regards to food safety and veganism. Seven speaks up, back towards the couple. The two look at the chef, embarrassed. Funny, Simone says before chuckling. I apologize, Seven. Do you require help with the meals? I'll be more than happy to pitch in, Chuck offers. Not needed. The heartfelt mini-soap opera entertainment was ours enough, the bot assures cheerily. Right, yeah. We'll get out of your space then, Simmons says as she starts guiding Chuck out. Appetizers soon. Meals will be completed in 20 minutes. 7 farewells. The two probably exit the kitchen to see the rest of the crew in various states of conversation. To Chuck's surprise, the Terran freezes in place. You okay? She asks softly. Looking up, she sees a small smile on Simone's face, as her emerald eyes drift from individual to individual. The redhead's attention is first caught by the boisterous laughter of an older Tromple, the man who saw right through Simone when she first stepped onto this ship. Instead of fear or judgment, however, he simply offered understanding and he listened, something so few up to that point never bothered trying to do. His scales shift into a sharp red, while in response to something Vin sternly tells him. The Noxy doctor shook his head in defeat, causing his ear flaps to go a bit wild. Behind his dark, beady eyes is a depth of analytical prowess. Though he comes off as a bit stuck up, he's someone who will commit to his word, because he truly cares about people. His own profession of aiding in mental health doesn't focus on his own species. Without Vin, Simone may not have had the mental tools to come to her current perspective. Though she has a long, difficult way to go, she knows he is there every step of the way. Along with their child 7, of course. A machine more connected to what it means to be alive than most other Simone knew. A machine that she couldn't help but be jealous of, to be so able to enjoy everything that comes with just simply existing. The Grat couple sit closer together and chitter to each other regarding the new universal language used by the people who live among the stars. Simone hasn't known them long, but when she looks at the two newcomers, she feels a small but potent hope for the future. Not just for herself or the crew, but what the Grat can bring to the stars as a whole. Of course, they may be the universe's new boogeymen, but something tells Simone otherwise. Then, the canister holding the lone child. Without others of their kind, the unit's attention is set on everyone else outside their confines. Dashing with great interest, seemingly understanding much of the different species, even being the first to spot Simone and meet her gaze. Simone is a parent. A goddamn parent. What the fuck? Excuse me, Seven says, as they hover past the Callian Terran, with a circular tray in each appendage.
Aha! I know that smell anywhere. Buttered linkoa legs, excellent.
Captain Chobnock cheers, as the appetizers are brought forth. Simone shakes her head amused and continues to the table, taking a few of the crustacean legs herself and makes sure to get the Watafling's attention. Alright, SJ. In a few days we're going to start training your land legs. Can't stay holed up in there forever, she informed the child, before opening the top and plopping in an edible leg. SJ snaps it up in a murderous embrace, as they coil around it and stab into the shell like it's tissue paper. Simone leans back in her desk chair, rubbing her eyes from the project at hand. She was versed in power armor, enough to patch it up, but trying to make a compromising modification while making sure it can reseal properly is tedious and a bit stressful, quite frankly. Glancing back down at the Cali power armor undersuit, she takes in her progress of what boils down to cutting a hole in the groin area. She has just finished redirecting an energy circuit and slicing out the flap. While working, there have been several occasions where she stopped and realized what she was ultimately doing. At least there's humor in it. But right now she needs a break. Pushing the rolling chair, she rises in a spin and stands up from it in a smoother than intended motion. While thinking of what to preoccupy herself with, she stretches her arms up, cracking the bases of her shoulders. The tensions from being hunched over start to loosen as she wanders by her algae farm. At first she pays it no mind, other than enjoying the aroma it gives off, but her tired eyes manage to find a small inconsistency. Rubbing at her face, she refocused, not thinking much on the strange visual anomaly, at least until she recognizes it. A single familiar worm, just chilling like it owned the algae tank. Simone doesn't know what to do with herself as she stares dumbly at the thing. Should she squash it? No, there may be more. None of her crewmates have been hijacked and turned into some of our nests either, so it's doubtful the intention is to infest the ship. At least, that's what the Terran hopes. She slides a clear panel off the tank to the side, exposing the interior completely. Hey, comfy in there? She asks, fully knowing it can't verbally respond. However, it does seem to acknowledge her words by crawling to the side of the tank, right next to the redhead. Hesitating, Simone lowers her hand and scoots up the potential biohazard. Pulling it out from the tank, she looks it over, unsure if it's the exact one that took a joyride in her cranium. Cranium? Simone's eyes expand as an unsettling idea comes to mind. Hey, so you guys said you owe me a favor, right? This is so weird, but I have a brain tumor thing going on right now, and would it be possible for you to go in there and, check it out? See what the deal is? She inquires, feeling deeply conflicted with making such a proposal. The worm bites at her skin but doesn't break it. knowing the little bastard could burrow through her flesh like a bullet if it wanted to. Simone takes this as a good sign. Great. So, I guess I'll just... she starts to say, as she moves to place it in the back of her neck, but stops herself. Wait, no, no offense, but I think I need some supervision here. Just a sec, alright? Trust me, she adds, as she gently closes her hand around the creature. She leaves her now shared room and hurries through the ship to the medbay. Before she can enter, Chuck steps out from a casual conversation with Chugnook on the bridge. Simone, are you hurt? She asks, trotting towards the Terran. No, I just gotta put an ancient zombie worm in my brain. Long story, should be fine, Simone answers, before turning in the medbay. This, of course, only causes the Kelly Princess to charge in after her. What? Simone, wait, what do you mean? She chirps in panic. It's fine, really. I'm gonna have Dave watch over me, Simone assures, not wanting to be talked out of this already shaky plan. No, what you just told me is not fine. Please, just wait a moment and explain, Chuck argues, as she physically cuts the Terran off. Like, whoa, dudes, relax. Simone, use your words, bro. Big ones if you can swing it. Dave addressed the two. Simone holds her closed hand closer to her chest to keep it away from the others. Okay, sorry, it's just, I know it sounds crazy, but I think this can really help me, Simone admits, her voice carrying more emotion than she expects. So, remember that facility I dragged your brother out of? Chuck slowly nods, placing an upper grasp on the Terran's shoulder. Of course, that's where I lost you, she replies, still a bit shaken. Seeing the genuine fear in Chuck's eyes, Simone tries to calm herself and attempts to explain everything in an understandable manner. Right, well, what happened in that facility was an old intelligent hive mind species was released. They were in prison for thousands of years and didn't take kindly to their captors when released. They are a swarm of worms, like the one in my hand right now. They communicated with me by burrowing into my brain. I know how that sounds, but we talked it out, and I even helped them escape with their core. They could have killed me at any moment, especially after doing what they asked, but they didn't, and let me go. They even told me that they owe me a favor, and this little guy here might be able to tell us what the fuck is in my brain. I'd just like to try and have Dave observe and see if he can learn anything else, Simone explains. Chuck processes all that concerning information, before squeezing her hand on the Terran. Must you rush into this? Perhaps another way could be devised, one that doesn't involve a worm in your brain, she poses. Simone sighs and shoulders slouch. I'm really sorry, Chuck, I'm being an ass again, but this is important. So damn important. Even if there's a way I'd have to wait for. I gotta know why my mum did this to me. Chuck, my mum did this to me. All of it. Everything that fucked me up and put me in that living hell. Fuck. With her free hand, Simone covered her eyes, her rage and pit of hurt boiling to the surface against her will. I know, Chania, I know. I'm just scared of losing you again. I don't want you to rush into something like this. I trust you, but I fear for your safety when there's so many unknown factors at play. That's all, Chuck soothes, moving her hand to the redhair's back. I'm sorry, but this is something I have to do, is all Simone can say in response. McKinley observes the crying Terran to whom she cared ever so deeply for. Just like that first time she walked in on Simone struggling with her past horrors, Chuck can plainly see the inflicted hurt that this woman has been through, and how much she wants it to stop. Taking a moment to consider, Chuck weighs on how to proceed. Simone isn't currently poisoned with Terran alcohols, however her behaviour is still a bit rash. Perhaps she is acting before fully thinking through the possible consequences. Simone, look at me, please, McKelly requests sternly. It takes a moment for the Terran to center herself enough to comply. Her wet emerald eyes steadily catch with Chuck's. Take a moment, that's all I ask. Consider everything that can possibly go wrong, and what you desire from this, and then tell me, this is something you need to do, McKelly states. The Terran bites back her immediate words of persistence, but seeing the genuine fear in her lover's eyes gives her that requested pause regardless. She looks down at her closed hand, recalling everything that she went through in the facility, and how close these worms came to snuffing her out more than once. Even in the final moments, they had a literal civil war to decide Simone's fate. What if their feelings on the matter have changed since then? What if they have ulterior plans for her? Is having this chance to find out why she's been betrayed by those who she considered family, only to risk being taken away by her family now? Is she selfish enough to put Chuck through this? Is it even selfish to want closure for all the crippling mental pain and anguish she had to live with up to this point? Simone can only do what has kept her alive and sane throughout it all. Go with her gut. Even in the best case scenario, I don't think this is going to fix anything. I know that. Nothing will make what happened to me magically go away, but this weighs me down so much. It has for a long time. You know, you've seen it. I need to do this because I want to understand. I need to know why. Because whether I know or not, I'm going to be carrying that weight anyway. Maybe, just maybe, I can lighten the load, just a bit, she explains, before sighing out slowly. I'm not risking what we have for nothing. I'd never do that. It's just that important to me. Chuck takes in her words before glancing over to the autosurgeon. Can you promise you won't come to any harm? She orders rather than asks. No surefire guarantees in the mad world of medical science, but your bro Dave has a freaking sweet little laser that can precisely zap the tiny bugger who thinks an invasion of the body snatchers on us. I'm like, decked out, man. Dave reassures the Callie. Okay, I understand. But I'll be right here, and if anything goes wrong, I will order Dave to terminate it, Chuck says, still uncomfortable with the whole idea, but places her trust in Simone. Nice counter reference, man, though I'm no Arnold, Dave inputs before setting up for the odd operation. Thank you, Chuck. I'll make it up to you, Simone says, greatly relieved. Oh, you will. But get through this safely first, okay? The princess replies, patting the Terran on the back. Promise, Simone agrees, before quickly laying herself down on the procedure bed. She takes a deep breath and opens her hand to see a thankfully not squished worm. Slowly she lifts her head up and places a hand under her neck. After feeling the disturbing pinch and wriggling into her flesh, she lays back out straight. Where then sudden straps come up to secure her limbs down. Just in case, brah, Dave notifies to dispel concern. Right, Simone says, before locking her eyes on her fiancé. I'll be okay, she assures. Throwing caution to the stars, Chad maneuvers herself to Simone's side, clasping her hands on the Terran's arms. Soon there's a weird pinch in the back of the Terran's skull, another presence immediately making itself known. The vermis greets you, Simone Thatch. Her own hijacked inner monologue speaks. Hey, been a bit. Honestly didn't expect to meet like this again. How's the new planet? Simone asks out loud. Others came for the facility, but they did not remain long after seeing the aftermath. No aggression as of yet, but we have prepared for the stars to fall once more. You wish to ask us for our favor, yes? We can already tell your mind is altered now. Yeah, no kidding. And yes, I'm hoping you'll be able to tell what that alteration is exactly, she replies, as she stares at the ceiling. A moment is needed for consideration, for this favor must be agreed upon. Simone resists asking how a single one can communicate with the rest in a relative instant, across light years upon light years, not wanting to interfere with such a process. The vast majority agrees to this favor, with one condition that must be met. What is to be discovered, we will copy whatever information we come across, without your resistance. Simone instinctively glances at Chuck, who takes hold of her hand. Yeah, that's fine. Just don't take anything, alright? I've already had people fucking up with my head enough already. We will not take. A firm and almost siege-like shiver ripples through Simone's spine. Thankfully, her hand around the Callie shoots open rather than squeezes. Simone! The Callie cries out. Fine, I'm fine. The redhead manages to respond, as her body still flexes and twitches. Chuck looks at the autosurgeon, not quite believing that. The little dude is navigating and She-Hulk's nervous system is being seriously tickled. Not the time for my zip-zap yet, Dave reports. Feeling a bit relieved, Chuck rests her hand on the Terran's shoulder instead. The involuntary movements eventually die down, but a mild brain fog soon comes over Simone in its place. This addition to your brain, we believe to know its purpose, but not yet the motives. But it's familiar. Familiar? How? What is it? Simone questions, her vision warping and blurring. For 10,000 years, our capabilities have been the subject of countless studies and experiments. This feels like us, but distant and far removed. It is not us, but it was created through us. A long, long time ago. Possibly by those who initially stole us from our world. Simone can feel the rising anger in the voice and waits for it to continue. The contents are very old as well. Stored away genetic codes and memories. Genetic codes? Of what? Simone asks, confused. Your species, and many more of them seem to be your species' ancestors, all of which are pristine and primed. Why? What do you mean by primed? The redhead mutters. Out of all the possibilities, that didn't register on any level. Uncertain. However, it appears this edition is designed to be hereditary. We shall access a memory in search of answers. Prepare. Before the Terran can respond, her vision completely falters and reality dissipates in a flashing stream of perceptions. Sights, smells, thoughts, sounds all jumbled around in a stirring mess until... Tribe Sister Nee smiles before Dov, their many cycles-long hunt finally coming to a victorious end. As the great branch-head prey beast gasps his last breath, The wheels of life fade from his large eyes. Pride and satisfaction coursing through him, Dov reels back and hollers to the blazing skylight, slamming his chest with a fist in several pounding repetitions. Nee rasps in agreement as he yanks free a hunting spear from the prey's gut and sets to work to remove the poison globs of flesh that cannot be consumed, but make sure to stow them away for other uses. She does this now because the wound was too close, and poisoning the surrounding precious meat would be a great loss. The tribe has greatly dwindled in numbers, if the elders speak the truth, and there is too few members growing to a hunting capability. A great prey beast such as this would be a great boon for full bellies and material for tools, perhaps even enough to bargain to merge with a larger tribe, perhaps one that has a grain field or two to harvest from. After the show, Dov crashes down to remove the remaining spears, inspecting each of the masterfully crafted stone tips before bundling them together for ease of carrying. Then he fishes out crafted cords of plant fibre to begin tying the beast's legs to a thick carrying branch. But something is wrong. Very wrong. He looks to Nee, who he assumes reflects his own expression of confused unease. Slowly, the two stand erect as the air grows bitter and ripples like a water after a cast stone. Dov inhales, yet his lungs burn like he's holding his breath under a bottle of water. He frantically looks around for what might be causing this unnatural distress, but through the trees there's nothing amiss. He resolutes that it must be something wrong with the recently dead beast, so he reaches out to grab Nee's arm, only to find open air. Nee has fallen to the earth, clutching at her chest, hands barely visible through the thick furs. Dov stumbles over to aid her, but soon finds his legs giving in from under him. His strength nearly sapped, he is barely able to crawl over to his prone tribe sister. He opens his mouth to speak, but his blood runs cold at the sight of Nee's eyes, piercing in abject horror to the heavens above. With the last of his stamina fading, he falls to his side to face upward as well. It's then he witnesses what Nee has. Another new skylight floats above them, like the white sky firs, and from it people-shaped firs step out to descend towards them. But much of their bodies gleam like the surface of a lake. They also have long trailing tails with peculiar claw hands at the ends, and the most disturbing being the massive bat-like wings aiding them in the slow fall. The sight of three of them circling down is the last thing Dov remembers before the black of forced sleep takes him. When he awakes, he is uncertain of where he is. His breaths are tightly echoed back to him as though in a log or in a cropping of a cave. But it's not any of those things. No. Whatever his tight encasing hole he finds himself in is of nothing he has experienced. Out of confusion, fear and rage, he attempts to squirm from the shiny rock-hard belting holding him in place around his chest, but neither hands nor teeth can even make a mark. Looking forward, he catches the sight of Nee. She is opposing him in another hole, slumbering even as he screams and thunders his fists into the warm ice that encases his hole. He strikes and yells until his voice gives out, and knuckles smear red fluid across ice, obscuring his vision outside. Much time passes before any other signs of life show themselves. A person walks into view and seems to curiously inspect the ice. Thinking it may be possible salvation, Dov spits at the ice and wipes at the wet smear to get a clearer view. If he still had a voice, he would have cried out in terror. This person beast stared back at him with red and yellow eyes, their pupils feline slits. The fuzzy skin is similar to purple flowers in colour, but only the skin around their faces is exposed. The rest is long fur of a darker hue of their skin. His ears are large tufts of the same fur pointing backwards. The red and yellow eyes narrow, and its sharply fanged teeth are exposed as they lift their claw hand out of Dov's line of sight. It apparently speaks something aloud, but all the man can still hear is his own raspy breaths. Suddenly something ensnares his bare feet. Looking down, he is horrified to see strange water filling the hole he currently resides in. However, this water somehow froze like ice without the cold, leaving whatever it rose to completely immobile. Raising his screams to what was possible, he began smashing his fist towards the beast doing this to him, but pure rage fuels him now. Over and over he lays onto the now completely clouded barrier, until his elbows are locked in place by the rising fluid. Knowing it's the end, he wavers with hot tears rolling down his face. Soon Dov's chin gets snatched in place, and in his last conscious moments he directs his eyes past the brave purple creature, to where he knows Nee is, desperate for any sort of familiar comfort in this completely unknown place of horrid terror. Simone is thrown back into her own mental space, breathing harshly as the echoes of Dov's feelings remain. It felt so real to her. For that whole time she was a different person in a far-off time. She swears she can still feel her knuckles bleeding, but after looking down to see Chuck still standing by her side with a concerned look. "What the actual fuck?" she croaks, feeling that her face was also warm with her own tears. "I'm sorry, Simone. I wanted Dave to stop it, but you assured me your life wasn't at risk. Are you okay?" Chuck asks, brushing at the Turnip's red fur tenderly. I think so. Fuck. Vermis. I didn't recognize that species. Who were they?" Simone asks, finally catching a steady heartbeat. It takes a short while for the worm in her brain to respond. A race that has long disappeared from the stars. They were the ones to take us from our world, and it seems we were not the only ones. But why? Experimentation? So all those bullshit abduction movies were right? Simone mutters, a severe headache coming on. Unknown. There are more memories stored, even a few that are not of or related to your species. However, in good faith we will pause here, as accessing the memory causes your brain potentially damaging stress. We do wish to continue, but not until you're fit enough. Yeah, that sounds good. Fuck. What do you know of that species? They kind of look Terranish. Mostly in the face, Simone says. Thoughts drifting to ancient alien conspiracies of our people's media, and how fucking right they seem to be. Sensing her line of thought, the voice replies quickly. They share no genetic relation to Terrans or Terran ancestors. However, the vague similarities are intriguing. Perhaps that's what drew their curiosity. But that's mere speculation. They thought it useful to extract memories from your kind. Strange. Wishing she could rub her sore temples with her restrained hands. More confusion rises within Simone. Wait, why would a god of my people even have this? I guess I might explain the caveman bullshit they branded themselves with somehow, but I don't fucking get it, she says. Unknown. Looking through your experiences with them, it's uncertain if they came across this tool or have been gifted it. Tool? Simone asks. Indeed. We have concluded at least one of the intended purposes of this biological addition, to guide and accelerate Terran evolution. All these genetic codes are to give future generations of your kin easier access to relevant adaptations for your genetic past. The children of Gaia, it seems, knew of this in some capacity. We believe they wanted to colonize a world like Earth and allow their evolution to improve your species for a time, in hopes to renew Terrans after your starbound civilization inevitably collapses, a rebirth into something better, but whether or not it would work. We are dubious. Okay, but why the memories? The redhead questions. Can't be known for certain, at least until we view their contents. We do have our hypothesis, however. And that is? Kept away for safekeeping until it requires recovery. You said that the species that made this disappeared from the stars. Like, they died out? No. They left willingly. Like, just up and left? Seriously? Where would they go? We do not know. Not yet. Right. Other memories. Okay. We done for now? Indeed. So, want to go back to the algae tank? Simone offers with a smirk. It is an acceptable long-term environment for this one of us. Gotcha. Till next time? The worm doesn't respond. Instead, Simone feels it make its way out through the back of her neck once more. The other presence within her mind completely vacated. Bummer, no zap-zap. But like, hurrah, you're not dead, dude. Good job, Dave announces, as the straps around the Terran's arms and legs attach. Nodding, Simone is quick to pick the bloody worm back up in her hand. She sits still for a while before glancing at Chuck. It sounds like you found some answers, Chuck asks. Not really, but kinda actually. This is way fucking bigger than I could have ever imagined. I guess I should fill you in, huh? Dave, I might need to get a bit high for this.